for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
We're coming. We're coming.
Who? Huh?
Mark, they can't pitch. They can't hit. What is with? I mean, come on. Playoff? You kidding me? Playoff? What are you talking about? Playoff? You kidding me? Playoff?
Yeah, just like an old-fashioned barbershop.
Капризов.
You're breaking up, Bob.
You're breaking up.
Cam Dantzler, what are you doing?
Let's go.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
Jet lag disadvantage.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, homeboy.
Yes! Take that!
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
Used to be a clothing store
What do you
called
think of my
Unlimited.
defense now?
Come to, they had a jingle too, or something like, come to the Limited, dress your part of the day.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Let me try it again. I think it went, come to the Limited and dress for the part of your day. Come to the Limited and dress for the part of your day, or something like that. The Limited is what it was called. And then they probably changed it to Mr. Unlimited. A little of this, a little of that, with the emphasis on the Latin comedies tend to be. It's kind of lonely at the top, isn't it? Talk to our latest report card show that we've conquered all.
I would say one is the loneliest number.
One is the loneliest. No, my favorite Starship song that you ever heard. One is two is just as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. But you and I are at the top looking down. It's sort of like the first person. I think his name was Admiral Byrd. Can you look him up? Byrd. I think Admiral Byrd he either landed on Plymouth Rock on the Lusitania. He discovered Antarctica, or maybe he was the first person to climb Mount Everest.
Richard Evelyn Byrd, Jr.?
Yeah, it would be him, Dick Byrd.
American naval officer and pioneering aviator, polar explorer, and organizer of polar logistics.
Okay, so it was the North. He was the first guy to get to the North Pole, I think.
Aircraft flights in which he served as a navigator and expedition leader across the Atlantic Ocean, a segment of the Arctic Ocean, and a segment of the Antarctic Plateau.
Yeah.
He is known for discovering Mount Sidley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica.
So he's not the guy that climbed Mount Everest.
He also claimed to be the first to reach both the North and South Poles by air.
Of course he is.
However, there's some controversy as to whether he was actually the first person to reach the North Pole.
That's what I thought.
I thought Santa was the first.
Well, Santa was the first, certainly the North Pole. I think Amelia Earhart was lost while trying to go to the Antarctic. You know, it reminded me, it's taken a long time to get to the top. I started here in 1993, part-time, and then full-time in 1994. And have I recanted this tale before? I've talked to my contract squabbles before, but this was when we still do tend to receive performance bonuses if we perform at a certain level. And those performance bonuses have changed over the years. You know, where do you rank? Where are you at the person's quarter-hour share? Blah, blah, blah. I don't understand that all. I just say, just push the contract in front of me and let me sign, right? But when we were first doing bonuses back in the 90s, now, let me say this. They've increased significantly since back in the day. But back in the day in 1994, I was working from 1 until 3. Then I was hanging out with the Chad Barrero show as flat catcher for 3 hours. I'd come back and do 6 to 7. I'd get bonused on the 1 to 3 portion. And the bonuses, like I say, weren't very much back then. They were I was bonused first through fifth, and if I finished fifth, I got $100 extra for the quarter for 3 months. Second, $200.
Oh boy!
Third, $300. Fourth, $400. And by the way, let me come on and say this. This isn't the current ownership. I think this was back when we've been owned by at least 6, 7 different radio companies. The company that we currently work for and have for a number of years tend to be, iHeart they've treated me very fairly. I love working for iHeartMedia. They actually have. I have no complaints about iHeartMedia. But back when we were like evergreen or whatever, we were evergreen, deciduous, coniferous, whatever we were, I don't know what we were. The bonus structure was, $500 for first place. Back in the day, Joe Suchere, you familiar with the name?
Yes.
Joe worked at KSTP Radio. I think he has a podcast now. And Joe was the king of the airwaves back in the day on the AM dial. He was number 1 in his time slot. He was 2 in the afternoon till 5 in the afternoon. And I had to go head to head with him. I was 1 to 3, and I could never. I eventually climbed my way up to second, but I could never get past Joe. He was very talented, and I just was still learning the tricks of the trade. And so I went to the company and I said, do you know that, and they go, well, you're getting close to number 1. I go, yeah, but I said, do you know what it would take? This has to do with my work ethic or lack thereof. I blame the company for my lack of work ethic, tend to be.
On brand?
Yeah, not iHeart. I'm talking about, because I worked very hard to get to the top here with iHeart. But back in the day when we were whatever radio company we were at the time. And I said, for me to get past Suchere, do you know how much time I would have to put in? Time, effort, preparation. I mean, I would probably have to double what I put in. And if I get there, I get an extra $100 for that 3 months effort. So
I said, boy.
That's basically $33.33 a month. So how much is that a day?
Well, use your OBJ math and make it even sound worse.
Yeah. Well, then by day, how much would it be? Because if it's $100 for 3 months, that's
$33 a month.
$33.33 a month. And then
if you want to just include weekends, it's basically $1 a day.
So $1 a day. And I said, now, in what world would anybody say, I'm gonna really work hard? I mean, I'm gonna try now for once. Instead of just coming in and winging it, I'm gonna try just to make an extra $1 a day. And then you could see that it registered with them right away. But they still, came up with it. Well, you should just do it out of pride.
Huh?
Pride don't pay the bills. Yeah, so I was just recanting that tale. Was because some of the salespeople out there, they don't know all the horror stories of the olden days of KFAN. I mean, I'm right, aren't I, on that?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's like, if
you're going to give someone an incentive, you have to incentivize them.
Make it like just saying, if you're ever able to get first, we don't think you can, but if you do, we'll give you, even back then, if they would have said, I don't even know if I'd have done it for $2,000 every quarter, but I would have thought about it and said, wow, that means I could make an extra $8,000 a year if I'm, back then, that would double my salary. So I was like, I'd have been all in on that, but, $30 a day, sorry, I'm out. But those days have changed. They've come and gone. We're very happy.
I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, and I know you're happy that I'm happy. A number of things coming out of the combine. My favorite was, and we'll take a break. We'll do Peek at the Purple and talk about some Viking-related combine stuff. But my favorite was somebody in CBS Sports was making predictions about the combine. And you know what one of them was? The vertical jump record will be broken. It's like, you're running out of things to write about if you're talking about records that will be broken. And then whoever is does the vertical jump really, that's good if it's a Hail Mary, right? End of the half or end of the game, and they throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
It's really good to be able to vertical jump over the high, because then you can knock the ball away if you're on defense. Other than that, the vertical jump.
Blocking a field goal, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Otherwise, it really doesn't do you any good.
I would just put like a 7 foot guy there with long arms, and you don't need a vertical jump.
You know what I would do if I didn't have Hellebuck? I'd hire a sumo wrestler. Just put a bunch of gear on him and put him inside the net. That actually makes sense when you think about it, right? Because there's no limit to how big a guy can be.
There has to be a human being out there that could take up an entire net. Yeah. 4x6 net.
Or darn close. And you just put skates on him and just say, just stand there and let him bounce off you. You don't even have to move. We don't care. We'll clear the rebounds for you.
I don't know if you could find equipment big enough for them, but
that's the problem with it. So let's do this. But 10B, I will say this in closing. I think I was happier back then in the early 90s because I think you're happiest when you're underpaid. and I'm beginning to believe that. I think that's when I was the happiest of my life. We will take a break. We'll come back, and we'll do Peek at the Purple here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Join Meat Sauce and Miller Lite at Dave's Town Club in Delano tonight from 5 to 7. Stop by for drink specials, games, and to register for a chance to win a spot in the Vikings Foundation Golf Tournament. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword golf.
What's this one called? Bonanza? What's High Sierra?
Angel Riders.
Angel Riders. Sort of like Ghost Riders in the Storm. Familiar with the song Ghost Riders in the Storm? Hell of a tune.
I know Riders in the Storm.
Oh, there's that too. I think that was the last song Jim Morrison recorded with the Doors before he met an untimely death. And when he joined the 27 Club, couple 13, 14 pastime comedies tend to be. Time for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. They are shockingly affordable. They're coming over to my house tomorrow bright and early. I'm having them do more work. I was so pleased with what they did. Put that laundry room light in for me. They installed a dedicated circuit to my sump pump because Woodbury's built on clay, And so when we get heavy rainstorms, that sump pump runs, it's constant.
Yeah.
And all I need for that bad boy to do is, so by dedicated circuit, that means the sump pump it's got its own little fuse box thing, a little switch on the fuse. It's not connected to a couple of other things. Then you know what else I'm going to get? And I think I can install this myself. I don't know if I should dare try though, a backup battery powered sump pump. Apparently you just take it and you put it in the same spot as your sump pump, in your little sump pump area thing, a little basket, so that if the power ever goes out and you're out for like a day, your basement could flood, and I don't want that to happen. So, but Affordable coming to do some other work for me. I want to be up to code on a couple of items, and so they're coming over. I highly recommend Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com is the place to go. Affordable-electric. A Peek at the Purple. You sent this to me yesterday. Is this picking up a lot of steam? It's Diana Rossini. She works for The Athletic. Vikings fan page. Vikings with a Z. Vikings fan page. Picked up on something from Diana. It says, although Kirk Cousins to the Hashtag Vikings make sense on paper. At DM Rossini says she doesn't see it happening. She mentioned on at Scoop City Show. I think she has a show called Scoop City. She mentioned how she's learned this week more than ever. That's in quotes. How important J.J. McCarthy's development is to Minnesota. Then there's a quote from her. I think they really want to develop J.J. I really think they want to get J.J. going. And I learned that actually this week more than ever. And that doesn't surprise me. We've been talking about this. What's that phrase? Ad nauseum for a long time. And I think I told you about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that I'm actually... Last year, I wanted him to keep Sam Darnold. It really had nothing against McCarthy. It was just I loved the way Darnold played. How could you not? I know he had the bad game against the Rams or the Lions and the Rams, but I still like what I saw. And lo and behold, I was proven correct. My assessment of the quarterback position was spot on, and the assessment of the quarterback situation at the New Winter Particio Performance Center was wrong. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a better talent evaluator. Maybe I understand the NFL a little bit better than some of the guys that do it for a living. But now this year, with no real other alternatives, I mean, it ain't going to be Brosmer. You know, Max Brosmer, Minnesota, Max Brosmer. It's not going to be Brosmer. I don't think it's going to be Wentz. And there's nobody to turn to. You know, it's like, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Teddy, do you pronounce it DiMaggio or DiMaggio?
I'm a DiMaggio guy.
I used to be that too, but if you ever listen to the song Mrs. Robinson, you familiar with it?
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
It says, where have you gone? This is the final verse. And this is the way they sing it. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? And I noticed that. And I thought, well, then it's not DiMaggio, it's DiMaggio.
Is it Granlund or Gronlund?
Well, I know for sure it's Gronlund.
Is it Taves or Toes?
It's Toes. But it's Joe DiMaggio. And since Where Have You Gone, old Sam Darnold has an arm, E-I-E-I, he's not here anymore. And there's nobody out there that I look at that, you know, on the free agent market, right? I mean, you know, the Joe Burrow thing, yeah, but that ain't going to happen, folks. So let's just forget about Joe Burrow, and Mahomes ain't coming either. So when I look at all the alternatives, I go, I may as well just run it out with McCarthy. As long as you've gone this far with him, and he has only played 10 games, and he has shown signs. Now, that's not saying I don't want to bring in a veteran. And would I be interested in bringing Rodgers in? I said this year, not as much as last year, because I just don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, because in all the articles I'm reading, regardless of the website, they seem to kind of suggest the Vikings are still kind of built to win right now. And are they? Until we get through free agency and carving up the salary cap and get through the draft, I'm not sure we are. But I guess I would be okay with an Aaron Rodgers coming. But I'm almost at the point. There is a lesson to be learned on the Darnold thing. If you were to let McCarthy go and he goes somewhere else and he ends up turning into a star, that would be, you know, fool me once, shame. I know there's an old saying in Tennessee. I know there is in Texas. Shame, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me, I won't get fooled again, as Led Zeppelin once sung. But so
it's hard to know exactly what you had last year because your quarterback play was so bad,
right?
That it permeates and through the entire team and has an impact on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense was clearly good enough.
Well, here's some of the pushback I've read on message boards and by at least one writer on one of those websites. I don't know what it was, Bleacher Report or whatever, said something to the effect of, well, with rotten quarterback play, we went 9-8.
Yeah.
So what if you got even slightly above average quarterback play? How good?
I'd like to think an Aaron Rodgers could take that team to 11-6 from a 9-8, right? And then you got a chance.
You would hope. Unless sometimes, you know, tend to be, you know, I don't like to use myself as an example, or I don't even like talking about myself, but I'm going to make an exception here. Have I ever recanted this tale before? So I got a lot of text messages when I asked if I had recanted the bonus story before. Someone said, Ten is so tired of the story, he can't even hide it anymore.
That's most stories.
Yeah, and then in this one this other one says, PST entry, common saying, have I recanted this tale before? I don't have any new stories. They're all old stories. Something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new. But I was a brilliant boot hockey goaltender, and when we left for the year, it was like, okay, we'll see you guys next year. And then the next year we started, we'd get ice time at Fogarty, or we would go play in the backyard. And suddenly I couldn't stop a thing. I lost it basically overnight, but it wasn't overnight. It was from like our last boot hockey would have been in February, and then we picked it up back the next December or January. So in less than a year's time, I couldn't do it anymore. So the reason I bring that up is it possible Rogers, because he wasn't brilliant last year, he's pretty good. He's still savvy and, still got a decent arm, but could now, his next year could just be all of a sudden completely gone. It's possible, right? But I don't mind.
Or could the quarterback whisper get even more out of him?
That's it. So I don't mind. I would certainly go with McCarthy. I guess, don't you almost have to? Or I guess you don't have to.
I don't know if you have to. I'm actually leaning the other way.
Yeah.
It was a bad year for him.
It was not good.
He didn't show a ton of promise.
Well, if what Diana is hearing is true, get used to a lot of J.J. McCarthy, at least to start the season. I'll peek at the purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, affordable-electric.com. More controversial Viking news and a little, there's that lot coming up next.
We got PST.
Oh, that's right. It's PST.
The IALTO 8 down to the Foolish 4.
Yeah, IALTO 8 to Foolish 4. And then that should take us where I can stuff in a couple of items. And then, of course, we've got 534. And then eventually the legendary one will join us as well. PST next here in the family.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program?
For sure.
Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
So, quick question for you before we do PST, Triple V, Triple I, the results and pairings. Then don't take offense to this. Do you think your work ethic is strong, okay? Has it gotten worse as time goes by here at the Fan? I mean, the reason I ask, a lot of people were wondering, they were kind of hoping for a montage today with Colorado against the Wild. It's like something's got to give to really good teams. Did you even consider it? Or just like,
no, it's late February. Right, okay. It's a regular season game.
All right. So it has nothing to do with work ethic?
No.
Okay.
But it would be funny you questioning my work ethic.
Well, I was just asking. Yeah, well, I have none. I know that. I don't. Look. Have I recanted this before? iHeart had a slogan. Now our slogan is guaranteed human.
Yeah.
Though some of the air talented, they act like animals, but we're guaranteed human. It used to be less is more. I've talked to her, so I said, "Oh, well, I like that. If I do less, it's actually doing more." So I started doing less is more. But I was just wondering, and
that guaranteed human's a little bit of false advertising, because like 9 to noon when he's talking about the Vikings, he has that robot voice thing going on.
It's Barney the purple dinosaur. Yeah. So it is. You're right. It's a reptile. It's not human. Let's go ahead. Let's get started. Why not?
Yeah, it'll be a little shorter today. We don't have as many matchups because we are down to the IALTO 8.
That's why I brought up the work ethic thing. I was just trying to pad on the
Well, you're going to have to pad a lot more on the backside here.
I'm going to, trust me.
We're going from the IALTO 8 to the Foolish 4. We'll be down to 4. Tomorrow we'll be down to 2.
Wow. This is so good.
And then we'll have a winner in the Preposterous Statement Tournament early next week. So let's begin with the IALTO 8. We have
North Region, presented by Carboni's Pizzeria.
The number 1 seed is Cleveland Cavaliers guard Dennis Schroeder on the NBA trade deadline. He said, quote, "It's like modern slavery. It's modern slavery at the end of the day. Everybody can decide where you're going, even if you have a contract. Yeah, of course, we make a lot of money and we can feed our families, but at the end of the day, if they say you're not coming to work tomorrow, you're going over there, they can decide that. They got to change that a little bit." Dennis went up against the number 2 seed. That would be Odell Beckham Jr.
I always explain this to people, like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, Save, invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year.
Yeah.
You know, and now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever?
Can you make that last?
It's so bizarre that when I was growing up, like if you were a millionaire, if you made $1 million, we thought you were filthy rich.
Correct.
Now you can make $100 million, and it's like, wow, money's gonna be gone in like 5 years.
Yeah,
I mean, what can you do about it?
You couldn't be any more right.
So it was Schroeder versus Odell Beckham Jr. I'm surprised this wasn't a little closer. It was 60 to 40%. OBJ's done. Dennis Schroeder advanced. I know, I wanted OBJ too.
Which one was Schroeder's? I know you just did
the slavery one.
Oh, yeah.
Modern day slavery. Which, anytime you compare something to modern day slavery.
I guess he deserved, he deserves it.
West Region.
The number 4 seed in the West region is Mavericks GM Nico Harrison, who said this about the Luka Doncic trade.
Didn't know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level.
He went up against the number 6 seed Michael Rapino, the CEO of Live Nation Ticketmaster, who believes concert tickets are actually underpriced, and they have been for a while.
I always joke, sports, it's like a badge of honor to spend $70,000 for a Knicks courtside. They beat me up if we charge $800 for Beyonce, right? So it's we have a lot of runway left, right? So when you read about the ticket prices going up, it's still average concert price is $72. Try going to a Laker game for that, and there's 80 of them or whatever the hell. So the concert is underpriced, has been for a long time.
Wasn't a bad run for Nico Harrison. He's out. Michael Rapino.
Yeah, Mikey Rapino. I
wins 58 to 42%.
And I just like the way he delivers it so much like.
There's a great delivery.
Yeah, just like, look. What did he say? I'm getting my head cut off or something about how he's catching all kinds of heat because he charges,
$800 for Beyonce.
He's just, and then again, as we talked about yesterday, average concert ticket price $72. Well, the average ticket price for an NBA game probably isn't much more than that, or average, because you can get tickets for $20. I mean, I told you yesterday.
But at least at an NBA game, there is a cheaper option somewhere in the stadium, whereas it seems like with the concert tickets, they're all.
When you're right, you're right.
Even the nosebleeds get expensive.
East Region.
The number 4 seed is Shedeur Sanders, who said this about his frustrating NFL draft experience.
You know what this feel like? Just people that just be in jail for something they ain't do, bro.
Shedeur went up against the number 6 seed.
What does he say at the end? I don't understand about. He says there's nothing you can do. It's like being in prison. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, for doing something you didn't do.
Oh, for doing something I see. Okay, doing something you didn't do. I see. I get. Finally,
Shedeur went up against the number 6 seed John Bonus, who said, quote, "You're probably never happier at a job than when you're underpaid."
That's where I was back in 1994 here at the fan.
I'm guessing John's pretty happy right now because he's on to the Foolish 4.
Yeah,
60 to 40% Johnny Bonus.
Good for Johnny Bonus.
We got someone from the fan representing here in the Foolish 4.
You know what it's going to be? You ever hear those ads, shop local?
Yeah.
Vote local. I just love it. I love local.
All right, the last matchup.
South Region.
The number 1 seed is Kendrick Perkins.
Shedeur Sanders is the most powerful black man since 2009. You know what happened in 2009?
Right.
That's when President Obama got elected in office.
Oh.
He's the most powerful black man since 2009.
Perkins is going to win up against Steve Mariucci.
I know an undrafted quarterback free agent today for the Vikings that's playing quarterback. We all know his name, Max Brosmer. Max Brosmer. He was over at New Hampshire, and he transferred in the portal over to the University of Minnesota, Rich. All right, so he went to camp, and you know what? He's going to smash the record. 485 yards today, and you know what? He's going to be known as the new American underdog.
Steve Mariucci will not be known as the new American underdog. This one's not even close. 76 to 24%. Kendrick Perkins is on to the Foolish Four.
Mooch, done. Dunzo.
He is Dunzo. All right, you ready for your Foolish Four?
Yeah.
Even though we just went through all of them.
Yeah.
Here's your matchups. The number 1 seed in the
North Region, presented by Carboni's Pizzeria.
That would be Cleveland Cavaliers guard Dennis Schroeder on the NBA trade deadline said, quote, "It's like modern slavery. It's modern slavery at the end of the day. Everybody can decide where you're going, even if you have a contract. Yeah, of course, we make a lot of money and we can feed our families, but at the end of the day, if they say you're not coming to work tomorrow, you're going over there, they can decide that. They got to change that a little bit. Schroeder will go against the number 6 seed in the
West Region.
Michael Rapino, CEO of Live Nation Ticketmaster.
I always joke, sports, it's like a badge of honor to spend $70,000 for a Knicks courtside. They beat me up if we charge $800 for Beyonce, right? I mean, so it's we have a lot of runway left, right? So when you read about the ticket prices going up, it's still average concert price is $72. Try going to a Laker game for that, and there's 80 of them or whatever the hell. So the concert is underpriced, has been for a long time.
Schroeder versus Rapino, your thoughts?
I want Rapino to win so bad. I just love the ticket price thing. I'm just going to explain to you people. I mean, this is just outrageous. He's just stunned by
It's underpriced and it has been for a long time.
I'm hoping Rapino wins.
The other matchup, the number 6 seed in the
East Region.
That would be John Bonus, who said, quote, "You're probably never happier at a job than when you're underpaid." He'll go up against the number 1 seed of the
South Region.
Kendrick Perkins.
Shedeur Sanders is the most powerful black man since 2009. You know what happened in 2009?
Right.
That's when President Obama got elected in office. He's the most powerful black man since 2009.
I'm Rapino versus Bonus is what I would love to see. I want John Bonus to win. I really do. I hope he does. I think he's deserving of it. Matter of fact, when he did the Ohtani's not a good fit for the Twins, he
deserved to win that year.
He deserved to win that year. I thought it was sort of, and if you want to consider this like they do in the Academy Awards, where it would be a make good, that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But we'll let we'll let the listeners decide.
You can vote right now on KFAN's X account at KFAN1003 on X.
And that means we'll be down to the Delicious duo, the Delcade duo tomorrow, and then we'll have all weekend, right? To
have all weekend to vote on the Preposterous Statement Tournament champion.
So good. So we're looking forward to that. So I'm told that Joe DiMaggio is mentioned in 3 songs, 4 with an asterisk. He's mentioned in Mrs. Robinson, and I told you it's Where Have You Gone, Joe DiMaggio? A Nation Turns Its Lonely Eyes to You. I'm told that John Fogerty's Center Field also mentions
that would make sense.
Joe DiMaggio. And We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel.
Oh, yes.
Also mentions. And I guess in the Fogerty song, in the Billy Joel song, they pronounce it DiMaggio. And Paul Simon pronounces it DiMaggio. There's also a song called Joltin' Joe DiMaggio by Les Brown and Betty Bonney. That was a 1941 song celebrating his hitting streak. So I'm assuming that was sort of like, it would be a modern day, it would be like, when we have, what are they, novelty songs? Novelty song would be like The Streak. Have you ever heard the song? This back when streaking was big, when people would strip all their clothes off and run across a high school football field during the game. And the song was called, and they called him The Streak. And they had this kind of like a guy, like a streak. I don't know. It was a sound effect to make it sound like the guy was streaking across wherever he was. So it's one of those novelty songs. I don't know. I guess the jury's out. If you go by Fogerty and Billy Joel, it's 2-1 DiMaggio rather than DiMaggio.
And you're DiMaggio and I'm DiMaggio?
Yeah.
So it's 3-2?
Yeah. And I'm a DiMaggio guy. Because of those artists, Paul Simon, John Fogerty, and Billy Joel, my favorite, it's not even close, is Paul Simon. Second would be Fogarty. Billy Joel. Have I recanted this tale? It used to be one of Stranger and 52nd Street were two of my favorite albums, and now I wouldn't even give them a listen.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
He's got a bunch of good hits.
Yeah, well, I know he does, but I just don't particularly care for those songs anymore. I kind of burned out on them. The best song Billy Joel ever did is called Rosalinda's Eyes, and was never a hit. I don't think it ever got played on a radio station, but I really liked it. But there's neither here nor there. What is this text message regarding the controversial topic about Vikings quarterback. This one says, don't bring in a veteran. All that will do is screw up the 2027 draft, which is QB loaded. If JJ's not the one, why on earth would you want Kirk Cousins or Russ Wilson coming in to get some lame wins and screw up our draft? It took the Bears 3 tries to get their guy, the Patriots 2, the Broncos a half dozen tries. Everyone now, if with McCarthy we cannot soar, then draft Manning or Dante Moore. If McCarthy we cannot soar, draft Manning or Dante Moore. Signed Dr. Mike. And yeah, I guess that makes some sense, but there's still no guarantee. I mean, again, with rotten quarterback play, we went 9-8. And I don't think it goes to, the NBA is they're addressing an issue that is front and center for the NBA, and that's tanking, right?
Yeah.
Teams that are just intentionally trying to lose games. They want the worst record to increase their odds of getting further up the draft pecking order. They want to be number one, so they have the pick of the litter, right? And it makes sense. I understand that I can make an argument for tanking, against tanking, the whole thing, right? Yeah, I mean, I understand, but I don't think the head coach or the players want. It's hard to tank. Every sport is different. Football, it's like, I get the coach is the only guy that can get you to tank, right? He can just decide, I'm going to call a play that I know is not going to work, right? He puts together a vanilla game plan. Flores starts doing things he never did defensively, stops blitzing or whatever, stops disguising his defenses so the other teams are, because you're just not going to go into a locker room and say, guys, here's what we've decided for 2026. We're going to try to lose football games. Y'all with us? Who dat going to beat them Vikes? Everybody's going to beat them Vikes because we're going to tank it. You're not going to get guys to agree to that. They're just not going to do it because they're not going to go out there and not try. They're playing for future contracts and for bonuses or whatever the case may be. So you're not going to get them to do it. But so I think it's harder. NBA, you just bench guys, right? And you only have 5 starters, right? And you're only playing. Basically, most teams only play 8 or 9 guys unless you're the Thunder, and then you play 10. Everybody's playing 8, 9 guys. So you can manipulate your wins and losses pretty easily there. Teams have been doing it already. Play their best players through 3 quarters and then go to the bench and go, I got to get these guys some playing time, which you can make an argument for. Because part of my argument with having Béranger and for having Shannon Jr., and then who's the guy we traded?
Dilly
was, well, how are you going to get them experience? It's chicken or egg. If they don't play, they can't get experience, and they can't get experience if they don't play. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So it's like, well, so then, you can make the argument in the NBA, okay, hey, we played well for 3 quarters. Come 4th quarter, bring it to the ticket, or come 4th quarter, bring it to the bench. And we're going to play some of the other players to get them experience to see what we've got there. See what I'm saying?
If you are going to already play for getting a quarterback in 2027 in the draft, which therefore basically what the emailer is saying, you got to tank because you don't want to bring in a good quarterback.
Right.
You are now in a full-on rebuild, right? Because you're giving up this season, and then in 2027, even if you draft a quarterback, the odds of him lighting the world on fire and you being a big game contender doesn't happen a whole lot in the first year. You're a good 3-4 years out now. And if you're going to be 3-4 years out, well, you know what? You better consider trading Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And you better consider trading Christian. Tear the thing down to the studs if that's the way you want to go.
Right.
Because by the time 3-4 years from now, Justin Jefferson's 29, 30 years old. He's getting close to being an old wide receiver. Christian Darrisaw will be approaching, maybe getting on. Right? You know what I mean? So, if that's your approach, then you should be saying, tear this thing down to the studs. Let's start trading players away. Not even just avoiding a good quality quarterback that we can get in free agency or via trade, But you're rooting for a full-on rebuild.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I can't imagine KOC wants to be part of a full-on rebuild.
Unless...
I mean, he ain't going to survive through it.
Right. Unless he sat down and in those conversations with Brzezinski and with the Wilfs, they go, here's the truth of the matter. These are just the facts. And just explain what you just did. Say, this is what we have to do, or else we got to go here. But if we want, the franchise quarterback, if we don't think it's McCarthy. Now, Rossini says they still believe in McCarthy. And I don't know if that's just being, you could make the argument maybe they're just being stubborn. Well, that's the guy we selected. I still don't think it's been actually stated unequivocally. There have been a lot of reporters that have had their opinions on who's responsible for the McCarthy draft. I tend to believe the people I trust that O'Connell had a lot to do with it. I'm not going to let Kwesi completely off the hook because, again, the general manager is always the tiebreaker, right? I guess he does have the final say. But I think I think the organization, I think they were all in on McCarthy. I think that was kind of an agreement as far as now I know there were people that thought Darnold should have, stuck around and they should have got Aaron Rodgers, but that was for this past year. I'm talking about when they first got McCarthy. And, he has had glimmers. We saw the fourth quarter against the Bears. He was really good. And then in this stretch of games at the end of the season, now again, granted, they were playing some really bad defenses, right? So the teams they were playing at the end, I think I mentioned this before. I think I read 3 of the last 4 teams they played were all were wins. They were playing against the 29th, 30th, and 31st ranked defense or something like that. They're some of the worst defenses in pro football, 29, 30, 32 maybe. And then the Packer games, that even really count? The Packers rested everybody. But he showed some signs there, and so I would be willing to listen to signing a veteran quarterback if it was somebody I really thought still had a lot of football left. And I just don't know if that guy exists. That's the problem. I don't think Cousins has that much left. I just don't think he takes us. Plus, if it's just to make the playoffs, all right, that's okay. But I think most people want to feel like playoffs is almost a given, barring major injuries. We're talking about winning a division, getting a home game, and making a run here. And I think most fans feel that way. So, and I just don't know if that guy out there exists. I mean, is there a veteran out there? We talked Rodgers. I guess if he could, harken back to the thrilling days of yesteryear. And, there's a couple of other guys. I mean, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray probably has the highest ceiling, but also maybe the lowest floor.
And then if you get a guy like that, then you are kind of committing more to him than you are to McCarthy.
Yes.
So I don't know what the easy answer is. It's
well, and I also just, as I mentioned earlier, I don't believe KOC would do a tanking or a rebuild. And the reason is he's had a 13-win season with Kirk Cousins and a 14-win season with Sam Darnold. Right? Like Sam Darnold was kind of off the scrap heap. Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback, but never considered a top 5-ish, top 8 quarterback. So KOC's had success with guys that were thought of to be kind of middle tier of the top 32 in the league quarterbacks.
Yeah. But as I had said, I agree with you. But I also, unless they've had conversations they sit down with Wolf and say, let's just tell it like it is, right? Like Odell Beckham did. I tell people all the time, Odell spelled out how contracts work in the NFL. If they say, we can go out and get a veteran quarterback, but if we get a veteran quarterback, there's really nobody out there. I mean, I could coach him up the best I can, but man, that's just going to delay McCarthy's development. But if we want to go back to the draft, we can play it a little loose and fancy free and try to lose. It's up to you guys. Because you present the possibilities to the Wilfs. Here are the different ways we can go. Which one do you want me to do? Then if the Wilfs said, Story franchise, National Football League, we want Arch Manning, or is it Dante Moore, or one of the other guys, then you're giving your blessing to KOC to go ahead and play McCarthy and not worry so much about wins and losses. if those kind of conversations take place, and I don't know if they do. Other side of the break, the conversation will be 5-3-4. Tenny, you got a tease, please?
Another Twins pitcher injury.